What if your kidneys were slowly losing strength, and they never caused a single symptom until years later? That's exactly what makes kidney health so different from problems like joint pain or back pain. Your kidneys can become less efficient little by little, quietly adapting as they work around the clock. By the time many people notice something is wrong, some of that lost function may already be permanent. The encouraging news is that long before most kidney problems develop, your daily food choices can either make your kidneys' job easier or gradually force them to work harder than they need to. And that's exactly what today's countdown is about. We'll count down 5 foods that can better support your kidneys after 60, and 5 that may quietly work against them when they become everyday habits. The surprising part: the food that earned the #1 spot isn't there because it has the most vitamins, or the most antioxidants, or because it's the latest superfood. It earned that position because it teaches the single biggest lesson about protecting your kidneys for years to come. Stay with me, because every food builds toward that final idea. If you enjoy practical, evidence-based health advice that helps you stay active and independent, consider subscribing. Every week, we share simple habits that can make healthy aging easier to understand. Before we begin, there's one principle that will make every food on today's list easier to understand. Your kidneys don't remember yesterday's lunch. They remember the habits you repeat. That's encouraging because protecting your kidneys isn't about eating perfectly. It's about making slightly better choices often enough that they become your normal routine. As we go through today's countdown, think about your own kitchen. Which of these foods already shows up on your table every week? Food 5: fatty fish. We're starting with a food that helps your kidneys indirectly, and that's exactly why it's so interesting. Most people know salmon is good for the heart. What many don't realize is that your kidneys receive about 20% of the blood your heart pumps every minute. That's an incredible amount for 2 organs about the size of your fists. It also means your kidneys depend on healthy circulation every second of the day. Eating patterns that include fatty fish like salmon, trout, sardines, and mackerel are associated with better cardiovascular health. When your blood vessels stay healthier, your kidneys receive a steadier supply of oxygen-rich blood to do their job. Here's the takeaway I'd remember if I forgot everything else about this section. Healthy kidneys begin with healthy circulation. Instead of asking, "How can I eat more fish?" try asking, "Which one dinner this week could become a fish dinner?" That simple question usually leads to a habit you can actually keep. Fatty fish also provides high-quality protein, which helps many older adults maintain muscle strength and independence. If you have chronic kidney disease, though, your protein needs may be different, so it's important to follow the advice of your healthcare provider. Now here's where today's countdown starts becoming much more interesting. The next food doesn't earn its place because of what nutrition labels tell you. It earns its place because your own taste buds can reveal its quality before you even swallow it. Once you know what to look for, you'll never shop for it the same way again. Food 4: extra virgin olive oil. The next food changes the conversation. Fatty fish showed us that supporting your kidneys often starts somewhere else in your circulation. This one teaches a completely different lesson. Sometimes your body gives you clues about a food before you even read the label. Have you ever tasted an extra virgin olive oil that left a slight peppery sensation in the back of your throat? Many people assume something is wrong with it. In reality, that gentle bite often means many of its natural plant compounds are still present. Those compounds, called polyphenols, are associated with healthier blood vessels. the same tiny network of vessels your kidneys rely on every minute of the day. That's your sticky takeaway for this section. If quality olive oil makes you cough just a little, that's often a good sign, not a bad one. Here's another tip most shoppers never hear. The words extra virgin matter more than a picture of olives or an expensive-looking bottle. That's because extra virgin olive oil is produced with minimal processing, helping preserve more of those naturally occurring compounds. So next time you're shopping, don't spend extra time comparing colorful labels. Spend 2 seconds checking for those two words. Extra virgin. Sometimes the healthiest shopping decision is also the simplest. A common myth. A lot of people ask, should I throw away my butter? Not necessarily. For most people, kidney-friendly eating isn't about banning one food forever. It's about making one better swap often enough that it becomes automatic. Using olive oil a little more frequently on vegetables, salads, or beans can make a much bigger difference than trying to build the perfect diet overnight. And that brings us to the halfway point. Up to now, we've talked about foods that are generally helpful. From here on, the lessons become much more surprising. Because the next food proves something most people never expect. The exact same food can be an excellent choice for one person and the wrong choice for another. Food 3. Avocados. For years, avocados were criticized because they're high in fat. Today, they're often praised as one of the healthiest foods you can buy. So which opinion is correct? For most people, the second one. But there's one important exception. Avocados are naturally rich in potassium. Healthy kidneys usually keep potassium at the right level without any trouble. When kidney function becomes significantly reduced, that balancing act becomes much harder. That's why two people can eat the very same avocado and receive completely different advice from their healthcare providers. Here's the idea worth remembering. The answer isn't the avocado. The answer is the kidney. Once you understand that, nutrition headlines become much less confusing. And the next food reveals something even more surprising. Until now, we've focused on what's naturally inside food. Next, you'll see why what manufacturers add after the food is made can sometimes matter even more than the food itself. Food 2. Processed meats. Everything we've covered so far has focused on foods that naturally support your kidneys. Now the lesson changes. Sometimes the biggest problem isn't the food, it's what happens to it before you buy it. That's why processed meats rank near the top of today's list. Bacon, sausage, hot dogs, and many deli meats are often loaded with sodium. When those foods become daily habits, your kidneys have to work harder to keep the right balance of salt and fluid in your body. Over time, that extra workload can contribute to high blood pressure, one of the biggest threats to long-term kidney function. But here's the part that surprises even careful shoppers. Many processed meats contain phosphate additives. Unlike the phosphorus that's naturally found in foods like beans or nuts, these additives are absorbed much more efficiently. In other words, your kidneys may have to deal with much more phosphorus than you'd expect from the food itself. Bonus shopping shortcut. Here's a trick that takes less than 5 seconds. You don't need to memorize dozens of ingredients. Just look for one small clue. If you see words containing phos, such as phosphate or phosphoric, you're looking at added phosphorus. Once you learn that shortcut, you'll never read an ingredient label the same way again. That's your sticky takeaway from this section. Don't just read the nutrition facts panel, read the ingredient list. Sometimes it tells the more important story. And now we've reached the top of today's countdown. Everything we've learned so far has been leading to one bigger lesson. We've talked about circulation, Natural plant compounds, potassium, hidden additives. But the food that takes the number one spot succeeds for a completely different reason. It doesn't just nourish your kidneys. It quietly changes the choices you make afterward. Food 1: berries. At first glance, berries don't seem extraordinary. They're small. They're simple. And because they're so familiar, many people underestimate them. That's exactly why they earned the number one spot. Most healthy foods do one good thing. Berries often do three at the same time. They provide beneficial plant compounds. They naturally satisfy a sweet craving. And perhaps most importantly, they make it easier to say no to the foods that quietly work against your kidneys. Think about it. A bowl of fresh berries after dinner doesn't just add antioxidants. It can replace cookies, pastries, candy, or ice cream. That's a ripple effect. One simple choice influences the next choice, and the one after that. That's why berries outrank every other food on today's list. Not because they contain a magical nutrient, but because they're one of the easiest healthy habits to repeat, and the habits you repeat are what truly shape your kidney health over time. Here's the one sentence I'd hope you remember a week from now. The best kidney food isn't the one with the most nutrients. It's the one that helps you make your next choice healthier too. There's just one piece missing. We've talked about what goes on your plate. Now let's look at what goes beside it. Because one everyday drink can quietly strengthen everything you've learned today. Or slowly undo much of it without you ever realizing it. We've covered the foods that can help your kidneys, and the ones that can quietly make their job harder. But there's one final habit that ties everything together. Because what you drink with those meals can either reinforce the healthy choices you've made, or slowly work against them. One everyday drink to limit: sugar-sweetened soft drinks. Most people assume the biggest concern with soft drinks is the sugar. That's true. But the real surprise is how your body handles liquid sugar compared with food. Think about eating 3 or 4 oranges. Most people would feel full before they finished. Now think about drinking a large soda. It can deliver a similar amount of sugar in just a few minutes, yet your brain receives far fewer signals that you've had enough. That's one reason sugary drinks make it remarkably easy to consume excess sugar without realizing it. Over the years, that habit can contribute to weight gain, type 2 diabetes, and high blood pressure, the 3 conditions responsible for a large share of kidney disease. And if that soda happens to be a dark cola, there's one more thing to know. Many contain phosphoric acid, adding another highly absorbable phosphate source your kidneys have to process. Here's the practical takeaway. If you drink one soda every day, don't focus on quitting forever. Just replace one of those drinks this week with water, sparkling water, or unsweetened tea. Small changes repeated consistently are almost always more successful than dramatic changes that last only a few days. One final idea before we finish. Throughout this video, you may have noticed something. The foods at the top of the list weren't necessarily the ones with the most impressive nutrition facts. They were the ones that made healthy eating easier to repeat. That's the real lesson. Your kidneys don't benefit because you found one perfect food. They benefit because one better choice naturally leads to another. And eventually, those choices become habits. That's why berries finished at number 1. Not because they're magical, but because they're one of the easiest foods to turn into a lifelong routine. And lifelong routines are what your kidneys remember. Let's quickly recap. 5. Fatty fish supports healthy circulation, which supports your kidneys. 4. Extra virgin olive oil. Your taste buds can help identify quality. 3. Avocados. The answer isn't the avocado, it's the kidney. 2. Processed meats. Look for fuzz on the ingredient list. 1. Berries. The best kidney food is the one that makes your next choice healthier. If you remember only one sentence from today's video, let it be this: your kidneys don't remember your best meal. They remember your most repeated one. So here's my question for you. Which one change feels easiest to make this week? Share your answer in the comments. Your experience might encourage someone else to take that first step. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like, subscribe for more evidence-based healthy aging content, and share it with someone who would benefit from it. Thanks for spending your time with me today. Until next time, give your kidneys one better choice today, and they'll thank you through the habits you build tomorrow.